It was very much a calculated risk, but one that led to an ultimate realization. What's up, tribe, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you are new here, my name is Mariah. In today's video, I am going to be talking about feeding your soul or your spirit during the pandemic. This video is sponsored by Ana Luisa, a high quality yet affordable jewelry brand that curates sustainable jewelry made from recycled 14 karat gold, as well as lab grown diamonds, while leaving a carbon neutral footprint. Their jewelry always makes me feel classic, elegant, bold, and even edgy, all while wearing simple everyday wear like this sweatshirt, for instance. They have earrings, necklaces, bracelets, pendants, cuffs, and much, much more. They have such a variety and it's all great quality to the point where it's pretty much my go-to jewelry. Aside from my wedding rings, I rarely wear anything else other than Ana Luisa jewelry. So if you want to try something that's timeless, elegant, and backed with a 1-year guarantee, you should check them out for a gift for either yourself or a loved one, especially right now because they are doing their BOGO 40 Valentine's Day sale. And the link to that, as well as the info on the pieces that I'm wearing today, will be in the description below. We've been living in the pandemic for 2 years now with no end in sight and a future in which the conditions are very unknown. There's mask wearing, limited admission to events or public spaces, vaccination or COVID test requirements for travel or just regular entry, and so much more. The things we enjoy doing with ease now have additional requirements and restrictions that can make it very difficult to have spontaneous experiences or even make plans for a very healthy and enriched life. For me, this meant the frequency at which I traveled, roughly every 3 months, was completely cut. When the pandemic hit, I didn't go anywhere that wasn't absolutely necessary. That is until recently. I took a trip to a tropical paradise, one that involved roughly 37 hours of travel with a 1-year-old, all while wearing a mask, as well as scheduling and paying for a COVID test, and even limited amenities that are normally provided during travel. Why, you might ask? Well, I had a planned trip back in 2019 that was canceled due to COVID, and my airline credit was nearly expired. The airline wouldn't work with me to refund me my money, and they also wouldn't extend the timeline as far as to when I could use the credit. So my options were pretty much to forfeit $500 or to use it. I chose to take the risk and use it. And it was very much a calculated risk, but one that led to an ultimate realization. What this trip made me realize is that traveling is one of my main passions. Don't get me wrong, I already knew traveling was a passion of mine, but I didn't know it was nearly as important as it is until I wasn't able to do it for an extensive period of time. And when you don't pursue your passions for an extensive period of time, your soul begins to suffer. And when your soul is in a state of suffering, it's nearly impossible for you to be at your absolute best, nearly impossible for you to fulfill your ultimate purpose, and nearly impossible for you to achieve all that you have the potential for. The trip also made me realize that my soul was in desperate need of the 3 R's: relax, recharge, reset. Many of us can sit around all day long and do absolutely nothing, yet still are not relaxed. Some of us need physical relaxation, but many of us need mental relaxation so much more, which is sometimes really difficult to achieve in our own environment. Recharge. Proper relaxation allows us to recharge. Like anything that runs on energy, without recharging, we can suffer from burnout and live in a constant state of survival mode, which can create very unhealthy habits over an extended period of time. When in this state for prolonged periods, we often retreat, escape, or even avoid, which isn't always congruent with actual relaxation. Why is that? Because most of those things often still occupy our mental energy. Once we are able to recharge, we can finally reset. Like a computer, without properly resetting on a regular basis, we can start to glitch. And typically those glitches start out as very small things. This could mean oversleeping, being unable to focus or complete the most basic, smallest of tasks, constantly feeling overwhelmed, impatient, irritable, or even completely numb. All of these little glitches build up and eventually create system malfunctions. I'm telling you guys this because I desperately needed a reset, but I couldn't get that without the other 2 R's first, hence why I went on the trip. And the reset that this trip allowed is indescribable. In 5 days, not only did I achieve the 3 R's, but I was able to deepen the bond with my son as we shared experiences without the home life distraction. I was able to return with a more and overall calmer sense of patience. And I'm not talking about the kind that you outwardly express because it is the right path and the proper thing to do. I'm talking about the kind that inwardly you genuinely feel. I also attained a better appreciation for my interpersonal relationships, as well as a fresh sense of focus and motivation. I returned with the realization that a part of my soul was completely malnourished on virtual life support. And it took me stepping outside of my own environment to achieve and reach these realizations. But most importantly, I returned. Me, not the shell of me functioning in the day-to-day tasks because I had no other choice or had to, but I returned whole, as a whole person, feeling whole, feeling connected, and feeling at peace, which ultimately will help me be a better me. A better me, a better wife, a better mother, a better friend, a better sister, a better artist, and live a completely fulfilling life despite these unprecedented times. Now, this isn't a one size, or in my case, one trip fits all solution. We all have to find what feeds our souls and how to fulfill our 3 R's. Trust me, I know it's very hard. I know it's very, very hard. And I know that some people right now are in a dark and desperate place. But I can't stress enough how important this is and how vital this is to our peace and our happiness. This is a time where we are all struggling, all in different ways, but all struggling. No one has taught us how to live and function during this time. There is no playbook for it. There's no guide, no class to take. All of us are learning this as we go. This is the first time we've all lived through a pandemic, and it's not going anywhere. I think a lot of us thought that it might be temporary, but it's very much proven itself to not be temporary. So we have to find solutions to be able to sustain our happiness and our peace in order to truly get through it, not just survive it, but truly get through it in a way where our lives are not wasted, our years are not wasted, and we are not in a constant holding pattern of fear or feeling encaged from actually achieving our goals and having those life experiences that we've always wanted to. For me, that's travel. I've always wanted to travel to all parts of the world, take at least 3 to 4 trips a year, and that's something I definitely want to do with my husband, as well as our children, and as well as my family. For 2 years, this put an ultimate halt to it that I thought would have ended by now, but I truly finally see that there is no end in sight, and the only choice I have at this moment, at this current time, is to adapt. The old expectations of how to go about self-love, self-care, and taking care of one's mental health or feeding one's soul, they've all changed. At least for me, they have. So I want to encourage you to chuck your old expectations. If you need to, write them down on a piece of paper and burn it. We gotta let go of the old expectations of how things were going to be, because they are now currently not gonna be that way. And we have to find our way. We have to navigate how it is that we are going to adapt to the new world we live in. Would it be great if this was some completely curable thing? Yes. Would it be great if even a vaccine was 100 proof in preventing you from contracting it? Absolutely. But it's not. That's not the reality of where we're at. And I do not want any of you to feel like any of your time or any more of your years are wasted on lost experiences. And I want to encourage all of you to be smart and be cautious and be careful, but also live in the now. None of us know how much time we have, and the world is in an ever-changing state. So if you have opportunities to do things that are going to feed your soul, that are going to help you achieve those 3 R's, I encourage you to go out and do them. Figure out what it is that you need to feel whole, happy, healthy, and at peace, and go and do it. So that's all I have to share with you today, guys. I know it was a little bit heavier than I normally go, but it was really something that was on my heart to share with you all. And I know how you've seen me super stressed lately just with the various COVID-related situations. So I also wanted to shed some light and kind of share some light of how my perspective has shifted over the course of the last week or so. And with that being said, I hope you all are having an amazing and wonderful week. For all of you who are currently struggling, remember, figure out a way to set aside time to achieve your 3 R's and figure out what feeds your soul. When I tell you it brings a lot of peace and tranquility and overall happiness, I genuinely mean it. It's not BS. And I want each of you to have this feeling because I know this situation has been so stressful for a lot of us. But just know that there is light in the situation and you just have to find a way to find yours. I am sending all of you positive vibes. Definitely be sure to check out Ana Luisa for any of your jewelry needs. And hopefully I will see you all in the next video. Bye.